welcome. Less is more. Go for it.
Thank you.
And by the way, if you have a slide deck, go ahead and click share and put it up on the screen. Perfect.
In 2023, the County of Santa Clara, which includes San Jose, saw an estimated 178,643 tons of organic waste disposed in landfills. We want to change that. Hello, we are Less is More, and today we're going to present our landfill waste reduction strategy piloted in San Jose. I'm Mariam, and I'm the CEO and principal investigator.
I'm Annika, and I'm the CFO and co-principal investigator.
And I'm Shreya, and I'm the community and environmental advisor.
As for what Less is More is, we are a landfill waste reduction advising company, and we primarily target working with city advisors and their respective environmental departments to reduce the rate of landfill growth in urban cities, specifically through the implementation of our app Kaizen, as well as a monetary rebate strategy. And we'll cover more on that in the next couple of slides.
Okay, so why is this a necessity? Landfills have a lot of environmental and social negative impacts. Some environmental impacts include the release of greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide and methane. There's also other emissions such as hydrogen sulfide, water vapors, and ammonia. All these emissions impact the atmosphere and the air quality, and also contribute to habitat loss. Some social impacts include negative health effects in communities that are living near landfill sites due to strong odors and water contamination. The current waste management system in San Jose creates a lack of awareness since it does not implement waste reduction strategies and only focuses fees based upon garbage cart sizes. So, for example, a 64-gallon cart size might be used by a large family household, and that annual fee for that cart size may come around to $1,300 a year. This might not be feasible for a household living under the poverty threshold, even if they're creating less waste since their fees are dependent on the cart size. There's also issues with the current garbage collection system regarding recording residential noncompliance, since it relies on human observation. This is unsystematic and unreliable since it doesn't address the trash missorting that residents do properly, and because of this, it increases landfill carts and landfill sizes.
So as for our solution to address that problem, we primarily have three areas of interest. First is our app Kaizen, and then secondly is a monetary rebate strategy. And then these two coupled together would result in a behavior change. So right now our garbage collection system looks a little bit like this. I'm sure we're all familiar with it. The truck drives by, it picks up your cart. And then that's kind of the end of the story. But most arms that pick up that cart are already recording the weight of your trash because there is a weight limit for carts. So for instance, a 32-gallon cart will have a 100-pound limit. And so our solution is, well, what if that waste weight information, instead of simply existing there, it's shared with you? So it would be shared with you through this app Kaizen, and you'd have the app and it'd tell you, okay, this is how much waste you had this week. And then you'd also get to see your monthly and yearly trends. And then also there'd be some waste reduction strategies. So for what our app would look like, here's some images. So first, for instance, you see the page, it tells you, okay, this was your waste weight for this week, and then you get to see your monthly trend, your yearly trend, and then there'd also be some strategies. So right now, it's kind of like, well, you can make a difference if you're buying less one-use items, if you're practicing more effective sorting. That's really the biggest thing is like, don't throw your compost and your recycle into your landfill carts. That's going to reduce the size of your landfill carts. And then we also provide some statistics on how when you do make a difference in reducing your landfill cart size, you're then making a difference in terms of how much methane emissions landfills emit. And then our second strategy is a monetary rebate principle. So participants who have the app and participate in the waste reduction strategy, if they are below a designated weight threshold for at least 8 out of 12 months of the year, they will get a 25% yearly rebate on what they spend anyway in waste reduction services or waste management services, sorry. And then on the chart, you can see kind of what that threshold would look like. So there's the current existing weight limit. So that's 100 pounds for 32 gallons. And then our threshold is 50 pounds. And then what we're essentially saying is the end goal is behavior change. So there's a lot of research that shows that if you raise awareness and that includes personal awareness, so what's your impact on the environment, as well as how can you make a difference. Those two levels will tend to result in a behavior change. There tends to be more environmentally conscious behavior. And then secondly, if there's a monetary reward involved, then you also tend to see more pro-environmental behavior. So we're essentially saying, well, if we provide the awareness and we provide a monetary incentive, we're going to foster behavior change. And in this case, that behavior change is reducing the size of your landfill carts.
So to implement our proposal, we will start off with the partnership with the City of San Jose's Environmental Services Department. Our timeline for this whole project will start off with 3 to 6 months to develop our app Kaizen, as well as another 3 to 6 months to partner with the City of San Jose and coordinate with their existing collection system, 6 to 9 months to recruit households for our pilot study, and then 1 year following that to collect data in the pilot study. So our app Kaizen is a low-code and minimal viable product, and we will be working with the contractual app developer to develop it. Once developed, we will work with the City of San Jose to pair the app with their existing data collection tool regarding measuring garbage weight. And to ensure that waste weight data is correctly transmitted from garbage trucks to the correct residential household, we will purchase precise location trackers to be installed onto garbage trucks. So for our pilot study, we will randomly select 100 households to participate. Participants will be instructed to download the app Kaizen as well as to take pre and post surveys. That way we can gauge their waste management habits, and we can particularly gauge whether there have been any changes in waste management habits following the pilot study. As well as that, there will be a $100 raffle award to incentivize people to join our study. So on average, residential households tend to accumulate waste that is 30 to 70% below the weight limit of their garbage cart. That is why we have designated our threshold weight limit to be 50% below the limit of the cart. So as mentioned before, if residents remain below the 50% weight limit of the cart for at least 8 out of 12 months, then they will be eligible for the 25% monetary rebate. So for example, those who have the 32-gallon cart would be able to earn $163.53 at the end of the year. And for 100 participants in our pilot study, that can add up to $16,353. Our budget for our project includes $120,000 to develop the app Kaizen, $20,000 to maintain Kaizen on a yearly basis and make sure it's functioning properly, $159 to purchase the precise location tracker for the trucks, as well as $100 for the participants' raffle money in the pilot study. Our current proposal is primarily targeting residential households, but for the future, we would like to also include apartments and corporations as well, especially corporations because we believe that they have a much larger impact on the environment. And our proposal is in alliance with the zero waste principle, which is defined as reducing landfill size growth to create a better future. Thank you so much for listening to our proposal. And if you would like to read our full proposal in detail, you can scan this QR code.
Yeah, very good, very good.
Okay, excellent presentation. So I'm going to top across. Charlie, you have a question.
Yes, who is paying the rebate?
So, since the rebate would be money given back from what they're spending anyway in their waste management services, it would be the city giving them that money back.
Okay. And how are you funding your ongoing operating costs? Are there any sources of revenue that you've specifically identified to cover those ongoing operating costs?
We have not identified them in the presentation, but we currently have ideas for fundraising. So mainly like fostering climate change fundraisers, which can be done both for me and Annika, we're SJSU students, so on campus, for instance.
All right, thank you.
Tina,
This is really exciting for me. I think it's a really great idea. I wondered if you have talked to anybody with the city's solid waste division about this idea and what they said.
We have not spoken with anyone.
Okay. Because they are incentivized to reduce their waste. They have a huge problem with waste and where it's going to go. So it's in their best interest to reduce waste. And so I think that there's a real incentive for them to do this. I would think that this is, if it's feasible. I'm also wondering, you said the location trackers. That's why I would wonder if you had talked to them, because really the realistic cost of implementing a tracker system that weighs each and every one household's garbage can. That's why I'm wondering about the feasibility of that and how much the actual cost would be to do that. But I think that they would be very much incentivized to implement something like this.
didn't the
Well,
city of Moraga do something like that, Tina, where they were weighing everything and they had an incentive program? No? Okay, anyway. Sorry, Miriam.
for our tracker,
Oh,
in our full proposal, we had actually like specified a specific tracker that we had researched and found, and that tracker it has a magnetic component to it, which allows it to like attach onto garbage trucks, and that's why it just has a one-time cost per tracker of $159 because the installation is pretty much just magnetically just attaching it.
cool. Greg,
A couple of questions. One just technical. What does Kaizen mean?
So Kaizen is a philosophical term for waste reduction. Primarily, it means to like do it in increments. So it's kind of like if you are gradually reducing waste, then you'll reach to like a zero waste kind of future.
And I guess the second one is a little more conceptual, which is, so you're collecting data, they're going to get their own data, back essentially, like how much they're doing in the trends and all that, which I really like. Because people are doing that with water and electricity, and so on. But the question is, would there also be a social comparison component to it? Like, I've reduced my waste this much, and my neighbors have reduced it that much.
Hmm. We did not consider like showing what your neighbor's doing because that would also maybe be like a privacy thing. But that would be an idea for us to consider maybe in like terms of neighborhood, like your total neighborhood did this much for maybe the month or the year. I think that would be a good thing to consider.
I think the closest thing to like a social thing that we discussed was like saying that you're reducing maybe like 80% more than your like other people that are participating and such like that. Because
Right. Right.
I took the comparison of like SAT scores or ACT scores of how they would say you're in this percentile, and that might motivate people to
Right.
reduce
Yeah,
even
where
more.
it's not at all, it's very anonymized and group level data, so there's not really too much of a direct privacy concern, I don't think. But good. Yeah, that's good.
John,
Yes. So first of all, I love the idea. I love the problem set. I think that that's great. I think there's a couple of things that you need to, overall understand. First of all, most pickups are actually done by a third party. They're not actually handled by the city per se. They let the contracts. So BFI may be the company that actually does the truck driving, actually picking it up and actually moving it. You've got to move through that barrier and actually understand that they make their money through their contract. So incentivizing them is actually important in this conversation. The second part is if you're going to now actually try to take this off of one part and move it into the recycling, then you need to be able to monitor what goes into the recycling. Because if you contaminate the waste flow, then all of a sudden you have two streams that now are a problem. So some type of mechanism by which you can actually identify that the correct materials are going in the correct bins, and then incentivize the individuals to recycle properly is another element that should be considered in this, whether it's a camera mechanism in your weight measurement, or and you need to explore ideas in how you solve that problem. But I love the idea.
Thank you for pulling up this slide. And just a quick comment. Take a look at Recology in San Francisco, because they actually send out people to knock on doors and say, hey, you're screwing up what you're putting in the different bins. I don't know how they know that, but there's an example for you. Go ahead.
Yes, I have, sorry, just to add in real quick, I have looked into Recology, and I believe they use camera technology to identify how waste has been contaminated and things like that. And then they do address the people who are not complying with the recycling rules.
Cool. Devin, you're muted.
Sorry, I was turning the mute off. Just wanted to say more feedback. Excellent pictures, great transitions, great pictures depicting strategies to make a difference, encouraging people to implement strategies. And then I really liked the connection to the next steps of working with multifamily homes, because residential waste changing behavior is, its own nugget, but multifamily is very hard to scale, as Tina and many others know. So
good. Mark?
Yeah, I was going to make the same comment that John actually beat me to, which is to say that the cities contract with waste management service. But I'll offer a little bit more perspective, because my city just went through this a year ago, and we switched to Waste Management, which is a big company, at least out here. And one of the interesting things about that transition is that we all now have access to an app that is provided by the waste management company, and it tells us when our pickups are, when they have been picked up, so I can check it to see whether I need to take my bins in. And they even make available a snippet of a video recording of your bin being dumped into the truck. Separately, recycle and trash, because those are two different trucks out here. So that might be something to look at, just as a comparison.
That would address some of the safeguard issues. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say thank you. That's very useful.
yeah, very useful.
Cool. Who did I skip in terms of questions? That's my comment is you did an excellent job. I started off in the environmental scene back in 1970 doing recycling, and I think this is very good. And what I like about it is it's very implementable, real straightforward. So, good for you to think about something totally practical. Any other comments or questions?
I would follow up with the reach out to BFI or Waste Management.
Yes.
If you can actually marry into their communication cycle.
Thank you.
Great. So thank you very much.